Hello everyone, how are we all today? Sleepy, food coma after lunch. Hopefully I'll give you some energy with my exciting slides about yield farming and actually making money, which is why we're all kind of here, I suppose. So anyway, my name's John. I'm the Ninja Software CTO and co-founder. I like to hunt bears, metaphorically, and I'll be talking about that today. And I just like the tech. So my background is in mining engineering, and that's actually how I got my start in crypto. I'll get into that in a second, but ultimately my focus today is in the tech industry and strategically running Ninja Software on the tech side. I also run a podcast with Alex Dunmo, Tech Society. We have an interesting episode that dropped yesterday. It's our Holy War on Bitcoin. Quite relevant. Please check it out at techsociety.fm. So in crypto, I was deployed in Ghana back in 2013, and the BTC was a nice cool price of $100 each. So I did what I did best and bartered my goods for BTC. I came to Ghana. I brought iPods at the time actually, watches, anything I could sell for crypto. I found some dodgy dude in a cafe in the middle of West Africa, and I lost a lot of money. So here's an email from 2013. I was trying to sell this watch for 5 Bitcoin, so 500 USD at the time. I didn't get to sell it. The watch is on my wrist today, still here. So I lost opportunity, but still, a fun sign of the times back then. So after that, we basically went into a cypherpunk phase. And I went into forensics and advising on private funds, and also a member of the Cypherpunk Council. So a lot of this stuff is also building blockchain applications and just generally helping people understand how to get into the space. So in today's talk, I have a lot of slides to go through. I think it's about 40 or 50. So prepare yourselves at 10 seconds per slide. So yield farming is my topic for today. Uniswap v3 dropped in May, giving some very, very capital efficient ways to yield farm. I'll be covering position discovery, types of ranges, and also how to maintain your position in 11 minutes. So why bother? Well, we're all here for the high yields, all that sweet, sweet gains, and losses. So we have to learn how to deal with that as well. It's still an early time. DeFi itself has only been around for about a year. Uniswap v3 has been around for a few months. So now's a good time to jump in, as long as you know what you're doing. All right, so this is an intermediate talk. You do need to know what you're doing. You need to understand MetaMask, how to manage your fees, how to self-custody all your private keys as well. There's a lot going on here. If you want to know more, just feel free to talk to me afterwards. All right, but first, a super, super fast primer into DeFi. Prepare yourselves. So, the blockchain is a system of record keeping. It's a double entry accounting system, which basically is a reverse linked list of blocks with the pointers being discovered by discovering a hash of the current block, which points to the previous block. Very technical, I know, but all you need to know is that it's basically a record-keeping system, backed by proof of work, soon to be proof of stake for the Ethereum network. Now, the transactions in a block, usually for Bitcoin, is value transference. from and to. Ethereum has something called smart contracts as well, which basically covers things like invocation of functions that you deploy onto Ethereum. So DeFi is when you have the entire financial system sitting on the blockchain. So it's deployed through Solidity, the language, onto the Ethereum network. And from there, you can do everything that you do today in the banking system. So, lending, borrowing, trading, insurance, all sorts of wacky things that you typically don't do on crypto, you can do today. So yield farming is basically combining all these pieces together. You've got lending tokens, borrowing tokens, tokens. Like seriously, there are tokens of tokens. And you use these in a myriad of different ways to be able to optimize your yields. So I'll be talking about what's called an automated market maker, or AMM, today. It's basically a multi-party system where some people want to swap from one token to another, and people like myself, who have been in the space for long enough with enough liquidity, can provide it to these people that want to swap. And the people like myself, the liquidity farmers, we receive, in this case, for Uniswap, 0.3% per trade. So this is what an AMM looks like when you trade. I won't get into this, it's pretty complicated. So anyway, back to Uniswap v3. You can now create range orders from a minimum to maximum price. And this talk is mostly about finding a good pair, finding a good range, finding a good price, and also to reduce slippage. So this is what a position looks like. You get one of these cool NFTs whenever you create a new position. And you basically select a min tick and a max tick. And that determines the range where the swaps happen for yourself and where you can actually start to accumulate fees. This will all make more sense in a second. So ultimately, you have to select your pair, select the type of your position, select the range of your position, deploy it to maintain it. And I have 7.5 minutes to explain this. All right, step 1, select your pair on June Analytics. June Analytics is an analytics platform, on-chain analytics. It gets to discover the yields of all the different weird and wonderful tokens on DeFi today. This is what it looks like. This is an example of one of the dashboards. And if you scroll down a bit, you will see a ticker that works. A list of different tokens and the yields that you receive from each token. So I just sorted by the maximum aggregated APY because I like my yield. 16,000% per year. Not bad. But you have to understand that each of these tokens have different story behind them. For instance, the Fade protocol, Mark Cuban got wrecked by them quite recently, so probably don't go with them. USDC, if you look into that, it's a centralized stablecoin. Do you really want to go with that? Not really. Axie Infinity, AXS, pretty cool. Do some research into it, you discover they don't actually issue any dividends. They don't accrue value into the token, so not quite my wheelhouse either. SLP, Smooth Love Potion. I have no idea what that is. And finally, Ohm. So that looks pretty good, 800% APY, and I decided to pick this one for the demo. Decent number of trades, volume is pretty decent, $200,000 currently locked. So I'm going to jump in there right now and start to pick my position. So there's different techniques, over, under, and in range. Basically, if you're in a bear market, you want to sit your liquidity position just above the lovely drawing of the price movement. Similarly, for a bull market, you want to put your liquidity just underneath. Or if you have a current bear market where it's a choppy sideways movement, you want liquidity to capture the entire movement and actually just take fees off that. Of course, you can day trade, but I don't believe in that, so I won't talk into that. All right, so now we have to pick a min and max price, and I have 5 minutes to go. So there's another platform called Flipside, and they give you some fee estimations. So you basically pick your min-max price, set how much money you want to put in there. So according to this, for $2,000 investment, I should receive $30 a day in fees, which is not bad. Have a look at the capture of the price movement at the bottom there. It looks like with my current selected range, I will actually be able to capture the entire range of movement. And finally, liquidity is not too bad. I'll release these slides. I'm going through this very fast, I know. All right, so anyway, I've selected here 2.2 ohms to 4.2 ohm range, which has captured 100% of the 5-day volatility. In theory, I should get $30 a day. Maybe, we'll see what happens. It's a very volatile market out there. So the next step is to deploy it. Make sure you have enough ETH to deploy. It costs gas every time. So unfortunately today, before rollups have been implemented, it'll cost you about $20 per deployment of positions. So this is what the position screen looks like. You basically put your values that you've decided in here, and then, bang. In the time it took me to write this presentation, I made $4, so it does work in a way. So you kind of just sit here, and as the price moves, every time someone makes a trade, up and down, it'll actually pull value out of the trade and give it to the liquidity provider. So there's some risks, of course, impermanent loss, which is basically as the price of a token goes up, your position will be shifted into the wrong side. You'll be pushed into owning the token that's worth less. So that's a bit of management you have to do there. And also, crypto is quite volatile. I'm not sure if you've noticed. So unfortunately, this particular trade has done very poorly. Okay, so I've made, over time, since I made this presentation, I made $240 on the yield farming, but my liquidity has halved in value because of the drop in value of Ohm itself. So keep that in mind. So ultimately, when you do some research into a token, you need to look at all these things: community, tokenomics, leadership, security, and if it's open source. This is a bigger topic. I love talking about this stuff, so come and see me later if you want to talk about it. So that's pretty much the end of my talk, but these are the other things you can do in DeFi. Hunt airdrops, collect NFTs, save gas, insure yourself, bond, stake, increase yield, take loans. There's all sorts of weird and wonderful things you can do today. And this is just one thing, which is just providing liquidity. You could also do other things as well. And single-side staking, fixed income protocols, this space is quite new, and it's worth talking about some more in the future. This book here, CoinGecko, How to DeFi, I'm a big fan of it. They have created little books that basically cover everything that you need to know. And of course, finally, do some programming. That's the end of my talk. Thank you for listening. Happy to chat further. I'm on Twitter, I'm on email, and if you find me after this, I've minted some NFTs just for today, a limited run of 100 cards. I'll send you one. Thank you. Hey, Sheree. It's been a while.